Hello and welcome back to Best Replays of the Week. I'm Luke Nella. Today we take to the high seas with the pride of the British fleet. Watch our French sniper give Chris Kyle a run for his money and meet the IS-6 who just won't give up and die. Let's get to it. World of Warships is still in closed beta, but you can get a taste of the action with our TOG gun of the week. Pico 33 takes the helm of a tank which handles like a battleship and puts the fear of TOG to his enemies. The battle is fought at Stalingrad on the EU cluster, and there are lots of Tier 6 opponents waiting to be dealt with. Luckily, Pico has a second TOG 2 in his task force. And they're off. The pair of TOGs explode into life, hitting a whopping 14 kilometers an hour at times. The machines steam ahead in close formation, and it's not long before their guns claim the first victim. The squadron mate pushes ahead while Pico stops to deal with a target. 3 rapid shots, and the Panzer IV-H goes down. The squadron mate is engaging a villain who becomes kill number 3. Bringing the TOG about takes time, but when it's done, the 5th kill happens quickly. Disaster strikes the squadron mate, and an overbold light tank charges right at our captain. The little pest is swiftly dealt with, but the loss of the second TOG is a serious issue. Pico heaves his vessel around, and the score plunges to 7-12. With one player who never connected, it means the fight is 2 versus 8. The capture warning goes off, and the TOG races home with blistering speed. The symbol of the last ally winks out, and Pico is all alone. The HMS TOG 2 versus 8 enemy tanks. Contact! The ironclad KV-1 seems to be made of solid steel, and Pico's TOG takes a beating before the enemy finally blows up. Dealing with the Grant is not a problem, of course. The capture threat is over, but it's still 6 against 1. They'll all be gunning for him now. First one to have a go is a Cromwell. It doesn't cause much damage, but the helmsman is injured and precious speed is lost. A cheeky VK drives into the cap circle and dies in a shot. 4 enemies left, including a dangerous SPG who has 6 kills on the city map. Look out! Behind you! Pico swings the turret around and the Nashorn is gone. 3 enemies still and only 180 hit points. Pico turns around, hesitates, and avoids an artillery hit with his Jedi senses. As he heads out, the enemies claim the dangerous Churchill is a bot. Can they be trusted? The AMX-40 is probably not a threat, but it's also a spotter for the artillery. Pico nearly avoids the hit, but loses his track. The Ducky tank dies, and tracks are repaired. Pico stays in cover, and just as he thought, the SPG attempts a blind shot. The battered TOG resumes the hunt. Just you wait, Artie.
Your doom is coming.
Ahoy, skipper! Target off the port bow. Fire! Direct hit! The Artie fires as well, but misses. The enemy decides to run, and that could be quite a problem. The wounded helmsman gives it all she's got, and the TOG sets off in pursuit. Here's the Churchill. The lights are on, but nobody's home as the enemy set. Pico gets to work, knowing that the SPG must be getting ready for the kill shot. There it is! The Artie is a little faster on the trigger, and take a look at this! It doesn't get any closer than that! Wow! The victor, by the narrowest possible margin, is Pico 33 fighting for the Royal Navy. Amazing game. 12 kills and facing 7 enemies alone. Definitely the top gun of the week. The sniper of the week is called Asgaroth, and he's driving the French AMX-50B. This tank has speed and burst damage, but very little protection for a heavy. Let's see how this goes. The killing ground is Karelia, and the battle is played out on the EU cluster. Asgaroth rushes forward to claim a good position, taking an opportunistic shot on the move. The reload is done, and Asgaroth pumps all 4 rounds into the FV-215B. The next magazine is used to punish a careless IS-7, and return fire is weak and ineffective. The sniper has things under control. Asgaroth stays behind the rock and fires off 2 more magazines. Plenty of damage is done, and he claims his first kill. It looks like the northern flank has been lost, so it's time to change positions. The 50B speeds off towards the base. Sometimes a sniper doesn't have the luxury of long range and concealment. A surprise attack with deadly aim will get the job done just as well. The bat runs away, and Asgaroth stops for a reload. Right then, let's finish this. This time the bat has no chance. It does have a friend though, and the AMX takes a shell before Asgaroth can duck back into cover. A nervous reload passes, but the enemy med doesn't push its luck. There it is, busy fighting an ally. Asgroth goes in for the kill, but it does cost him a lot of HP. A sniper like him should play to his strengths. 3 versus 4, and low on health, but the sniper is undaunted. He picks a good spot and makes this long-range kill look easy. 3 more to go. Bring it on, enemies! The object finds the target, but Asgroth has no line of fire. Still, that's another enemy down, and the scores are now even. Amazingly, the TD doesn't spot him. Asgroth pumps 3 rounds into his last known location and ducks into cover. When the enemy is spotted again, we can see that all 3 shells connected. Excellent! The object races back to help, but the French sniper is on a roll. 2 more shots reduce the Waffenträger into scrap metal. The last enemy tries a blind shot and reveals itself. The object waits for the sniper's reload and goes in for the kill. The final showdown happens out of Asgroth's line of fire, but the teammate wins his duel all the same. Victory! Good positional play and bold close-range action when required. Over 10k damage with only a single miss from all those shots. Nice work, sniper. The Tiger 1 is a great tank, but it can be challenging to play. Zaboot puts the accuracy and high rate of fire to good use in this week's Confederate game. The encounter match is played on Prokhorovka, once again on the EU cluster. The Tiger is at the top tier, but so is everybody else apparently. Zaboot heads to the middle and opens up with a couple of deadly accurate shots. It sets the tone for the early part of the match. The Tiger sits in the middle of the map, punishing all enemies who dare come out of hiding. When they insist on charging forward like this, what can you do but kill them? Where do you think you're going, Tiger? The garage, that's where. The way the Tiger is dominating, you would think it was bullying low-level enemies, but no, they are basically all tier 7 here. Just 3 enemies left now, time to go in and finish the job. 2 more to go, Zaboot makes this all look so easy. He does most of the work, and with a little bit of luck, this would have been a 7-kill Top Gun. That's how Confederate is the MVP. Almost 3 times the damage of the next contender, and a lot of assistance on top. Congratulations. The crucial contribution category honors replays which are hard to place in a specific category, but where the player is clearly the reason for the victory. Hassan Ragout and his Centurion Mark I are the stars of one such game. Once again, it's the EU cluster, and the Tier 9 standard battle is fought on steps. Hassan heads east, while the majority of the team go west. There's no shortage of targets, and cautious peekaboo is the order of the day. Things are going pretty well, despite some cheeky light tanks roaming freely near the team's base. Hassan fights well, dealing plenty of damage. His teammates are less fortunate though, and before long he finds himself holding the flank alone. This may get a bit tricky now. Let's find some cover. Actually, better get away from here altogether. It seems the enemies have forgotten about him already, and he manages to ambush them. 2 shots and the type goes down. Even now, the Tiger persists in not looking in his direction. Okay then. The T-34 is hunting him though, so he needs to be careful here. Look at this. The moment his enemies show an opening, they pay for it. The T-34 had that coming. 2 versus 3 now, but have you noticed? After all that fighting, the Centurion Mark I is undamaged? Incredible work! Contact! The VK spots the whole enemy force and takes some damage before getting into cover. Hassan has proven himself a master of the hold-down tactic, so this is his battle to win. It's time for another ambush. Let's see if the enemies believe he'll stay where they last traded fire. They did. But the T-44 decided to flank him. The duel results in some damage, but the enemy med is no match for the Centurion. Unfortunately, the fight lasts long enough that the ally dies in a 2 versus 1 showdown. Now it's all down to Hassan. He is very good at this, but a medium tank versus a heavy and a TD of the same tier is still a tall order. Hassan fights carefully and then decides to get sneaky about his position once again. Good thing he did, because the enemies find their courage and charge. He's just quick enough to avoid taking damage and gets into cover. Then disaster. Going in to finish the TD goes terribly wrong, and he takes a shell from both opponents. 87 HP left, and he needs 2 shots to kill that heavy. Now what? Both of these tanks are excellent for hold-down fighting. Hassan backs off and looks for a good spot from which to fight on his own terms. Maybe this rock? No, he keeps looking. A plan comes together. Hassan drives all the way to the enemy base, lets the enemy know where he is, and sets up an ambush. Okay, this should be perfect. The T-34 shows up right on time, but the shell fails to penetrate. Unlucky. The enemy has proven to be skilled and sneaky. This duel in the desert could go either way. First hit, get the reload, and fire! Wow, once again, it doesn't get any closer than that. You are our crucial contributor of the week. Congratulations. For the last treat of the day, let's watch an indestructible IS-6 in action. F-Vision, who I think I'll just call Fusion, plays on the Southeast Asian cluster and clearly doesn't know when to give up. He shows up with 2 platoon mates in matching tanks and sets the tone of the game by asking, "Where do we YOLO?" Fusion drives east, heading into the town. The enemies have come on strong, so he makes use of the handy corner and prepares a warm welcome. The Tiger II is held in place, and expert side-scraping takes care of its return shot. After the kill, it could be time to look in on the platoon mates. What was their plan again? Nah, they're probably fine. Let's see what's happening over here. See? They're doing just fine. Hello, SU-12244. Let's have a duel. Hey, wait your turn, guys. I'll be right with you. Right, who wants to go next? All 3 of you? Okay, boys, let's dance. Hi, Octobers. Do you want some of these? We can share. An artillery strike holds things up for a moment, but in general, the platoon mates push steadily up the street. Cheers, mate. This one was a bit tough to chew through. Also, have you noticed we're the only ones left? And they are. It's 2 versus 5. The siren goes off, and it's easy to decide where to go. Fusion heads straight for the base. The FCM's shot bounces, but the platoon mate blows up behind him. The FCM dies easily, but the cap is still going. There are enemies to his rear and a nasty artillery piece to worry about. It's a good thing that the IS-6 is bouncy from all sides. It's time to deal with the Kappa. Fusion slows down once, trying to get a bead on the light tank, but then it's full speed ahead and damn the torpedoes. Reset, but the whole enemy force is here. Come at me then, all of you. Bang! The 5960 is gone. Bang! There goes the E-25 and bang! Is that all you had? You're not so hard. That was pretty hardcore. The RT gets one more shot in, but it doesn't connect. Once again, the final showdown is between a slow tank and a much faster artillery piece. Well, hello there. Not much of a hunt after all. How's that for a different kind of steel wool? Take a look at that pile of medals, to which we are proud to add our own. Amazing game. Keep sending these in. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you had fun. I'm Luke Nella. See you all next time.